Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing more rare drafting with Ricky. Let's dive right in. Zendikar rare drafting, here we go. What do we see? We see the Chronicler. Whenever you cast a kick spell, draw a card, then discard a card. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards. You can find a kicker and put it into your hand. Alright, so since we're picking this up, you know, it's only good if you can get it to work. We are looking for all sorts of things with kicker like Shell Shield, but we're definitely hoping for Drake Roost, or Roost of Drakes. I don't remember what that card is called. What are we passing here? Jarari Disruption. Thundering Spark Mage is not too bad. It's like a 4 to cast 2/2, shocks for 2. Marasa Sproutling is a kicker card. Ooh, blue-green kicker could. Whoa, that's actually really good if you're running a kicker deck. That's ridiculous. Kabira Outrider, mediocre card for party member. Nahiri's Binding, super good removal, but it is double white. The Squid, mediocre defender. Zulaport Duelist, you know, it does its job. It's kind of fun. Deadly Alliance, extremely efficient removal if you're playing party members. Generic creature, Molten Blast, very expensive shock. Pyroclastic Hellion is a fatty that potentially does something, enables your landfall. Nissa Zendikar, we did use that to put that to good use. It is surprisingly a very efficient reach creature I found in our last draft run. Scale the Heights, also a card that's better than it looks. It does a lot of everything, and it just does enough for me for it to be worth it. So, because we're rare drafting, let's start with the kicker. We see Attended Healer. 4 to cast 2/3. Whenever you gain life, you get a cat. Another cleric gains lifelink until end of turn. Seems pretty good. Whenever you cast instant sorcery wizard, it gains flying until end of turn. That's really expensive. 5 for a 4/3 body that doesn't guarantee flying, but it does double as a flip land, so there is that advantage there. Marasa Sproutling, again excellent if you're playing kicker. Core Celebrant, Bubble Snare. Whoa! Oh man, this is not our day. So if we're playing kicker, we definitely want a way to end. So that's excellent. This is extremely powerful because it gets your kicker cards back into your hand. Bubble Snare, I think, is just a must-have here. It's just too strong if you're playing kicker. So I think we're gonna have to go with that. And a Royal Mage that can also return other kicked cards. Oh man. What a pack! What a pack for our deck here so far. Sneaking Guide, Snarecaster, Nectar Pot for the landfall, Tormenting Voice. All right, so because Bubble Snare is just too efficient of a removal, and it is a kicker, I think we're just going to have to pick it up right now. We see party member Thwart the Grave. I used this in my sealed deck. It was quite a bit of fun to use. Drain 4. The Mana Sink card into the Royal. Oh, easy! Another easy pick here. Can potentially net you a lot of value. Negate Counterspell. A Squid is a good blocker. Feed the Swarm is very efficient removal. Subtle Strike does. Well, 1/1 counter on target creature at instant speed is actually quite powerful. Cleansing Wildfire for the landfall if you need it. Grotag Bugcatcher, surprisingly good if you're playing party members. Might of Marasa is a kicker spell. But we don't have any creatures yet, so I think we're going to stick with blue. I think potentially we can move to black as well. Black has very efficient removal, and it has the Gloombat's Flying Lifelink, which helps you stay alive long enough for you to finish your game plan. Into the Royal is quite excellent, so we'll go with that. We see Lithoform Blight, absolute garbage. Makindi Ox, mediocre for landfall. A Squid for defender. Ooh, we see the Gloombat here. I kind of like the Gloombat here, but we did see a lot of green cards pass. For example, that that kicker saproling thing that returns kicker card from your graveyard to your hand. So I still am leaning green. It would be excellent if all of those wheeled. However, between Might of Murasa and Ghastly Gloomhunter, I'm definitely going to have to go with the Ghastly Gloomhunter here. Hagra Constrictor enters the field with 2 woman counters on it. That's pretty good. Blood Priest, very efficient. If you're playing party members, Expedition Champion, +2/+0, control another warrior theme. Pump Spell, generic defender, Murasa, and Spare Supplies. So I think I'm gonna have to go with the Gloomhunter here, just in case we do end up in black. Might of Murasa I just don't think is that good of a kicker card unless we find some of those green cards that wield. Alternatively, we can pick up some Squids just to have some blockers earlier on, but I think the Ghastly Gloomhunter is good enough for me to pick it up right away. Ooh, we see Acquisitions Expert, an excellent card if you're playing party members, and even if you don't, you still get your opponent to discard a card. Pretty good. Dauntless Unity is, if your plan is to go wide, it is pretty good. Other than that, it's not as good, obviously. Disenchant if you need it. Risen Riptide. Oh man. Okay, if we're playing since we're playing a kicker deck, if all of our cards have kicker, we can't go wrong, right? So I think this is easily what we're going to pick. Royal Mage, of course, is very good in a kick deck as well, but who doesn't want to whomp your opponents with the freaking 0/5 that turns into a 5/5 giant wave? Absolutely ridiculous. I think we're going to have to go with that. Subtle Strike comes back. We're more interested now that we have black as a potential. Kazandu's Stomper helped us a lot in our last draft, but not so much this one. So let's pick up the Risen Riptide and let's see what comes next. Seafood Stalker, our favorite friend. Jurari Disruption is an instant spell that can pick up some sneaky counters. Does allow us to use as a flip land. Minecarver, Outrider, Seafood Stalker. Namana Skitter Sneak is not what we're looking for, even though it's potentially in our colors. Molten Blast, Ambusher. Ooh, Doriga Visionary. That is a strong pull towards green. This is very, very efficient. We are looking for a kicker, so drawing more cards, it will find us more kicker cards. And the fact that this gives us a 3/2 body to attack with or block with afterwards does make it pretty tempting. I think that is more tempting than the Seafood Stalker, even though Seafood Stalker is on color. Mainly the reason being, we don't have that many party members necessarily to get that going, especially if we're planning to win with the giant wave. So I will speculate here and pick up the Joriga Visionary. Alternatively, if we're hoping for those instant or sorcery kicker mages to come back, Jurari Disruption could do some work, but late game it's pretty bad. Once everyone has 9 lands, it doesn't do very much. So I think I'm going to stick with the Joriga Visionary. Next we see a Relic Golem. If we have a mill theme, it's pretty strong. Other than that, it's not. Indestructible, not what we need. A 3/3 party member that makes both players draw cards, not what we need. Hagra Constrictor gives us woman counters and menace. Not sure that's our plan just yet. So unfortunately, we are now being pulled in 2 different directions. We either go black or we go green. So with what we have on deck, we have the Visionary versus the Gloom Hunter. The Gloom Hunter is a kicked spell, and it's not bad. So it's 2 to cast, and if we cast the Gloom Hunter and then the Hager Constrictor, and then well, actually, if we have the Hager Constrictor and then we cast a Ghastly Gloom Hunter, it will come into play with 1/1 counters, and you know, it will be a 3/3 flying lifelink menace at that point, which is pretty powerful. So maybe we lean black just because we have the Gloom Hunter as a kicker, and we'll go from there. Alternatively, we can try and run 3 colors, very, very spicy, and having Ghastly Gloom Hunter go into Scale the Heights would be excellent. We can give it a 1/1 counter and get lots of lifelink, but I think that's a little bit too speculative at this point, so I'm going to pick up the Hagra Constrictor. Pack 8, I don't think that's a wheel yet, so Resolute Strike. Cleric of Chill Depths is a good staller. Dreadwurm, Ardent Electromancer. Maybe playable if you're playing party members. Sizzling Barrage, excellent removal spell. Broken Wings if you're green, and Reach if you need the Reach desperately. So I think we're just going to pick up the Cleric. This does flex us into some party member shenanigans. We see... Ooh, unfortunately I don't think we have any of our kicker spells come back. So we are doing Scale the Heights, the Squid, or the Zulaport Duelist. The Duelist will enable our party members potentially. It can do some early trades. But at this point, we need some ways to win, don't we? There were some mill cards that were floating around, so I'm kind of tempted to get the Duelist. Well, the Zendikar is a pretty big land, but then that is committing to green, neither of which color seems that great so far. However, it is a better creature than Constrictor or the Gloom Hunter. However, if we're relying on instants and such, having to use one of our lands as an attacker is not ideal. The Duelist is pretty useless once it comes into play unless you're playing party members. The Squid is just mediocre all around, but it does help stall. You know, I have a good feeling about the Duelist, so I'm just going to pick it up right here. Blood Price draws cards if you really need to in black. Dreadwurm, pretty scary. Sneaking Guide, Tormenting Voice, and Snarecaster. So nothing really playable for us here. If we are considering black between these 2 cards, we probably want the Dreadwurm as a finisher. Having an indestructible finisher is very, very powerful. Negate, Might of Murasa comes back, so that is a kicker spell. However, we can also play Negate. I think Might of Murasa is better. Oh, that Blight card is not playable, Rubble Fort is not playable, so we're going to have to stick with the Spare Supplies. And Utility Knife and Disenchant cards, neither of which we need, so let's pick up the Utility Knife just in case. And the Ambusher. Not what we want. What do we see? Ooh, a Mythic. Minotaur Warrior, Morag, Fury of Akrun. Unfortunately not in our colors. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it is attacked this turn. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. Wow, that seems like a ridiculously fun card to play. Unfortunately, not in our colors. Thankfully, none of the other cards seem to be in our colors anyway, so I don't think we're losing all too much here. Stomper, Pack Beast, Sneaking Guide, Raptor, Duelist. Alright, let's pick this up for our collection and moving on. Bloodchief's Thirst. Ooh, excellent. So that's exactly what we were looking for. We were looking for efficient, cheap kill spells. So I think we definitely just need to pick up the Bloodchief's Thirst. No questions about it. Oh. But we have Lull Mage's Familiar here. Oh man, that makes all of our kick spells so efficient. I think a kill spell is just better. Kill spells are just straight up better, in my opinion, in drafting. So I think I'm going to have to go with that one, even though this card is so much more fun to play with. We're just going to have to go with that. Unfortunately, we're also giving up a Geyser Mage. However, it is a kick spell. It is a spell with kicker. So, not too bad, not too bad. So we are leaning pretty heavily into black now. We see the Shelter that we used very effectively in our last draft. The Adventurer is good in a party member deck, which unfortunately it is not a party member itself. So synergy kind of dies a little bit there. Relic Golem, pretty solid if you're playing mill. Pressure Point, if you're desperate. Geyser Mage is excellent, so I would consider that. Negate, Teleport Duelist. Another Gloom Hunter will get us our more cheap flyers. Reclaim the Wastes for lands. Kazandu Stomper. Wow, if you play Reclaim the Waste, that would be so greedy. Playing the 3 colors with the Reclaim the Wastes. I think we're gonna stick with the Cunning Geyser Mage first. Ravager's Mace gives your equipped creature menace and party member attack bonus. Shepherd of Heroes, 5 for 3 for flying. Always good deal in limited. Bubble Snare, excellent. Another ridiculous kick spell. Territorial Scythecat does work. Ardent Akum. Oblivion's Hunger. Cliphaven Kitesail. Alright, going with the second Bubble Snare. We need a win condition here. Wind Robber. Flying. Ooh, a 1/1 flying rogue. That could help us out. The Ox Field Research is a kicker spell, which is excellent. Another Constrictor, Tormenting Voice, and Kazudu Stomper. Field Research is pretty good here. It is a kicker option. Wind Robber is also a lot of fun. I feel like we need some win conditions, so maybe I pick up the Wind Robber here over the Field Research. Okay, at least we see another Field Research, so that's helpful. The Disciple, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Fortunately, I don't think that's going to work out too well. We don't have that many creatures. Cascade Seer is pretty good for a party member deck. Field Research, I think that's what we're going to pick up here since we passed on the other one. Blightblade plus Dauntless Survivor, pretty good. Electromancer and another Constrictor. So let's get Field Research. I think the problem with my deck right now, I still lack really a way to close out the game. For example, our Riptide here does need kicked spells to attack. So without anything to kick, we're pretty dead in the water. So unfortunately, we do see the Royal Mage, which will give us something to kick. Indestructible, Ox, Chill Depths, Ascetic, big creature. I think it's another Cleric of Chill Depths for us. We see our Cleric come back, unfortunately not in our colors anymore. Mucklord is mediocre, but not a bad filler card. Zulaport Duelist, not entirely convinced we need 2 of these guys. Mucklord does have some sticking power, so let's go with that. Ooh, another Dreadwurm as our finisher. Add to our finisher list is pretty solid, I believe. So yeah, at this point we're definitely at a green. We see Duelist again, so I think we'll pick that up now. Negate just doesn't seem that great. The Squid is a bonus. This one does give your creature indestructible and draw a card if it has a 1/1 counter. We don't have that many 1/1 counters, so I think we're going to stick with the Squid to stall. And we have garbage left over. Ooh, Hago Constrictor is not a bad pickup. Oh no! Disaster! Oh no! Whenever you cast a kick spell, you may remove 2 1 counters from it if you do copy that spell. So fortunately, it is not absolutely amazing. It is quite expensive to get going. A 1/1 counter for each mana spent to cast it. So it's a 4 to cast 4/4, which is already pretty good. But it's so good with something like Into the Royal. So when you cast Into the Royal and you kick it, you can remove 2 1/1 counters from this. That means you get to bounce 2 permanents, 2 non-land permanents, and draw 2 cards. Oh boy. Soaring Thought Thief is excellent. I might have to move back into green. Shell Shield is exactly what we need. So unfortunately, I think we messed this up. We should have gone with the green. Sahandi Vision. Instant or sorcery spell search. The Swarm is 5 for 3/3 flyer is always good. We're not playing life gain, so unfortunately not as good for us. Party member is pretty solid. Dauntless Unity, Pressure Point, Mucklord, Royal Mage, instant or sorcery card, Reclaim the Waste. Ooh. We see Reclaim the Waste, so maybe this is our avenue back into 3 colors. Right now, we only have 1 instant and 2 sorcery spells, so our Royal Mage isn't doing that great. So yeah, I think I'm going to pick up the Reclaim the Waste here and maybe aim for it. A very greedy 3-color deck. Spikefield Hazard, not what we're looking for. Ravager's Mace, Base Camp, it's a trap. Outrider, Ox, Felidar, our second favorite creature this set after Seafood Stalker. Anti-Cognition is not what we're going for, although, it is another instant spell. Squid, Wildfire, Expedition Champion. I mean, the Squid is playable. Anti-Cognition is an instant spell. Seems better than a generic 3/3, so I think we will go with the Anti-Cognition here. Arbor Mage has Kicker, but not that great of an effect, not what we're going for. Indestructible, Pressure Point, Smite, Anti-Cognition. Don't think we need a second one. Glacial Grasp is pretty good at stalling. It is an instant spell. Silence is not good because we're not playing party members all that much. We have 3 rogues, 3 wizards, no warriors, and 2 clerics. So not really into the party member game. Dreadwurm, we don't need 3 copies of a high-end finisher. So I think we might as well go with a kicker. Although It's off color, so maybe we just run the Glacial Grasp instead. Or we can hold on to 2 anti-cognitions. Now, let's go with the Glacial Grasp. I think that's the better plan. Thwart the Grave, party member shenanigans. Rock Slide Sorcerer, 4/4/3/3 whenever you cast. Well, we're not in red, or else this could be a pretty fun card in limited. Ooh, we see another Risen Riptide. That's pretty good for us, so we're gonna have to pick that up. We're now just hoping for more kicker spells. Might of Marasa, I think we're gonna have to pick that up just because it has kicker at this point. Anti-cognition. None of these cards have kicker, unfortunately, so our best bet is probably another Wind Robber. Flash Flying is 3 to cast though. Anti-cognition, Deliberate. Yeah, cheap 1/1 flyer. I think that could help us. +3/+1. That is an interesting win condition. We don't see more. We don't see more mana fixing or card draw. Don't think Nissa Zendikar. At this point, we're just really splashing green for these 3 spells, and well, I guess we could consider getting these guys in as well. So we'll have to consider that. Nissa Zendikar, I don't think is going to work out because we're already stretching our mana base really thin. We're probably going to need every single land we have, so using it as a creature isn't going to work out well for us. I believe we might as well try and get the Mind Carver out. If we get a Mind Carver out early onto our little flyers and annoying things, we might be able to sneak wins. So let's go for that. Negate. Ooh, Shell Shield came back. Easy pickup. Don't even need to think about it. It has kicker. It's one of the cheapest kicker enablers in the set. So we'll go with that. Elf Rogue has the reach. We might need to pick that up. We are a little bit low on reach. Deliberate. Yeah, it's just not good enough. Marasa Brute. Base camp. Spare supplies. Maybe we need a creature. Dreadwurm, well, I already have full playsets of all these cards, so it doesn't matter which one I pick up. Yep, another just collection card, and just another collection card. Let's see what we can do with this pile. We are very greedy. We are running 3 colors. So, let's see. Anything that isn't... So let's move all of our kicker spells to the side first. So our core is definitely going to be our kicker payoffs and our kicker supports. So kicker, 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 not kicker, kicker, not kicker, not kicker, kicker, not kicker, kicker, not, yes, not, kicker, 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 and kicker, not, and those 2. Okay, so with that, what is our creature count looking? So we have 22 creatures, 6 instants, and 3 sorceries. So with 22 creatures, I think we're looking to cut some of the more inefficient creatures. All of these cards we're basically almost definitely going to keep. We have a bunch of wizards. Let's look at this again. You can reveal a card with kicker among them and put them into your hand. Whenever you cast a kick spell, draw a card and then discard a card. Wow, that's pretty good. So I don't think we need our squid anymore. We do have a whole bunch of creatures, I believe. Glacial Grasp isn't looking too great either. Hager Constrictor I don't think fits our goal at all. We don't have any other ways to get 1/1 counters, so besides the Mucklord, so I don't think that's good enough for us. A 3/3 blocker. If we were playing a 3/3 blocker, I think I would rather almost play the Squid instead. 1/4 reach. Do we have problems with dealing with flying? Well, we have Bubble Snare, we have the kill spell, we have the bounce spell, and we have a flyer, and we have some flyers up here too, so maybe we don't need the reach. Mucklord is pretty good at giving us value. Mind Carver, maybe. Visionary and Dreadwurm. All right, so let's refresh this list and see where we are at. Do we want to remove more green spells? Between the Mucklord and the Risen Riptide, I think I'd rather get the Riptide going. So, but between the Mucklord and the Marasa Brute, I think I'd rather get the Mucklord. So, perhaps I remove the Marasa Brute. Mind Carver does let us get our little flyers going. Perhaps I can... The Duelist does combo decently with the Mind Carver. So those are Wind Robbers, so that is sort of one game plan here. Oops, well, we definitely need Bloodsheep's Thirst. Okay, click that by accident. Claim Cleric of Chill Depths. Do we need that? Do we need our Cleric of Chill Depths to stall? Kicker, Gloom Hunter, Might of Marasa, Verazol Coils, kind of Geyser Mage. So this is really a really high-end card. Field Research, Glacial Grasp. Glacial Grasp, I suppose, can go. Not as efficient. It does stall, but I think we have plenty of ways to stall already. I suppose the Mucklord also should go. Not exactly to our game plan here, and we don't really need the 1/1 counter. 4 more cards. Instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. We have 3 sorceries and 5 instants, so I think that's a pretty good chance we'll have something to kick into. Gloom Hunter, Might of Marasa. How many kicker cards do we have here? So maybe we remove... but the Duelist does help us mill 2 cards. Merfolk Wind Robber also helps us mill cards. Okay, let's have just 1 Dreadwurm. And we can dump the Visionary as well. That makes our mana base a little bit less reliant on the green mana. And we do have a lot of turn 1 blues, so I would actually change this mana base to +1 forest. Oops, sorry. -1 forest, +1 island would be excellent. And we need to cut 2 more cards. We do have 17 lands, that's basically all we want. Field Research, Geyser Mage, Cleric of Chill Depths. I think it ought to be the Duelists, honestly. Unfortunately, because we'd rather have the flyer with the Bloodthirst and Mind Carver. But that's going to make milling our opponent really difficult. Maybe we remove Anti-Cognition, but it is an instant that we can get back. Let's get rid of anti-cognition. I guess that we're not looking too much into countering things. And I suppose we will just remove one of the Zulaport duelists. I think that's going to be the right play. And we will play with this pile. So, there you have it. Thank you for watching. That's the video for deck building and the draft. The gameplay will be in the next video. Stay tuned on my channel. If you're on YouTube, please like and or subscribe. Ring it if you feel it. If you're on Twitch, please leave me a follow. See you soon.